know exactly what he could have said given his track record as the commissioner. Because if he just flat out comes out and apologizes to New Orleans Saints fans, he disqualifies his Super Bowl team and makes the Rams feel like an illegitimate Super Bowl team. I want to be very clear on this. I still believe the Rams are a worthy Super Bowl team because on paper right now, I can show you they look better on paper than the New England Patriots, right? So again, am I thinking this is a fraudulent Super Bowl? I do not. I just believe the Saints would have won that game if that flag had been thrown by any one of 4 or 5 referees in the vicinity of what we all agree was as outrageous an uncalled pass interference as we've ever seen. So the magnitude of it, I'm sure the commissioner thought it would lose steam over these 5 days, and it's gaining steam. I'm sure the commissioner thought it would blow over, and it is blowing up. It seems to get bigger by the day, and now fuel to the fire has been added by Benjamin Watson. So I appreciate turning up the heat on the commissioner. If we could do, what would Adam Silver have done? He has a different management style than Roger Goodell, right? Adam Silver is more fan-friendly to me and a little more player-friendly. So I believe Adam Silver would have tried to do some sort of statement.
What's he going to say?
You could say that you could use the human errors part of our game, and it was unfortunate that a great game was marred by an obviously blown call.
So you need the commissioner to tell you that even though you already know that.
It's just because people who love pro football want the leader of pro football to put this in some perspective, just something they can hang on to, because right now it looks like the league is running and hiding from this. Let me ask you a question. Am I right?
It does. Yeah. Look, Kyle, before you go any further, when Tuck rule happened, what did Paul Tagliabue say?
Well, I know what Mike Pereira did. He now works for Fox. He went on a national media tour over the next 3 days to explain how that the Tuck rule was correctly called. I was outraged, but Mike did a beautiful job of.
No, I didn't say Mike Pereira, who's the head of
but he was the Al Riveron at that time.
Okay, so it wasn't Paul Tagliabue. So if Al Riveron do, and that's what I'm saying, Al Riveron, who's the head of officiating, should do what they're asking the commissioner to do.
But just remember, it was the flip of this because there was lots of gray area in the Tuck rule, and Mike Pereira successfully convinced a majority of the media, because I was all over this story, and I became one of the lone outcasts here. You know, the last line. I kept saying, wait a second.
He was so convincing that they changed the rule. That's how convincing he was.
No, because that's not true.
Skip.
No.
Skip.
He was told, wait. Time out. Wrong. Wrong. I was in the middle of this, and I was the last line of defense on this, and I kept saying, that's not right, because the Tuck rule, and they didn't change the Tuck rule. They kept it in.
Skip, you and I both know Tom Brady was not throwing the ball. He had brought the ball down.
Listen, by the end of that week, nobody thought that. Everybody, Mike Pereira was eloquent and convincing for that whole week. He was everywhere.
Only the Saints fans believe, not the Saints, excuse me, only the Patriots fans believe that wasn't a fumble. Only the Patriots fans.
Okay, but the Tuck rule, the problem was Tom had finished tucking. Like he did his pump fake.
And
but
brought
again,
the ball back.
If the ball comes out, like if you start to throw it and then at the last second you say, ooh, then it's obviously an incomplete pass. It goes in the ground, right? That's not a fumble.
He faked it, and he brought the ball back to his chest.
So Mike Pereira was arguing that once you do this, once you pump fake and bring the ball back to a set position, that now you can't fumble. And I'm like, well, then why wouldn't any quarterback at the snap just take it and go like that? Then you could never fumble, right?
Exactly.
Okay, well, that was to me the spin on that rule.
Exactly.
But the rule stayed. The rule stayed in place, but it never has come into play because it was, to me, a far-fetched interpretation of that rule.
Exactly. So in other words, if Al Riveron were to come on, he doesn't have to come on our show, but just go out and says, okay, the guy blew the call. Everybody saw what they saw. It was pass interference, and it was helmet-to-helmet contact. A flag should have been thrown, and it should be first down, New Orleans.
Okay, just remember the magnitude of this. Let's do the example of Shannon Sharpe, Hall of Fame tight end. Let's just say, and let's do the worst-case scenario. Let's say you're playing in your first Super Bowl. Or no, let's go to your last one. Let's go to now you're on the map as of pretty much not going to say you're a cinch Hall of Famer, but you have Hall of Fame potential at that point.
Okay.
And your third Super Bowl would be against the Giants. Let's say it became a close game. And in the final seconds of the game, you're down, 5 points.
Correct.
And all of a sudden, who was throwing Trent Dilfer? Okay, so let's say Trent Dilfer, for once in his life, he threw a beautiful pass. And Shannon Sharpe is wide open, 2 yards deep in the end zone, and it's a blown coverage, and it hits you right in the hands, and you drop it. Well, then the whole
Jackie
world.
Smith.
Okay, but that didn't exactly decide that game because they were already down, right?
Right.
Okay, so
that would have put them up, though, right? I think so. That would put them up or tied the game.
But again, they fell after that. They fell pretty significantly behind, and then they had a late touchdown that made it closer than it was because it was 35-31, I believe. But again, they fell behind 35-24, so it didn't feel like that was. But it was a turning point. It just didn't happen on the final play of the game. What if this is the final play of the game?
Yes.
And all of a sudden, the world says, "Oh my God, Shannon Sharpe cost the Baltimore Ravens a Super Bowl." Well, that's the equivalent of what's going on here because it was the flashpoint moment, 1:48 left, where it's going to be 1st and goal at the 5, and clearly, unless they fumble or do something incredibly stupid, they're going to run the clock down to 15 seconds and kick a field goal, or maybe just not just ram it in the end zone.
If they throw the flag, if the odds are if they throw the flag there, the Saints have a 98% chance of winning if the call is made.
Okay, all right, 98% chance. So most of the world believes Saints should have been in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
So that's why the magnitude of this is unlike anything we've ever seen in the National Football League. And it is America's slightly most favorite sport, right?
Yes.
And in the end,
I don't think it's slight.
Okay, well, again, I think the NBA is gaining, and baseball's sort of rebounded.
It feels like.
Yeah, there's nothing like this, and there's nothing like this game. So all of a sudden, anything anybody says from the National Football League is going to disqualify the Rams, right?
Yeah.
Because if you acknowledge it, even if Al Riveron goes on a national tour and tries to put it in perspective, yes, we missed this, or even if he tries to say, but we also missed the face mask call, which came earlier, then it still disqualifies the Rams because we all know that the call that had the most impact was the one with 1:48 left, right?
Yes.
So, again, will Benjamin Watson's statement have any impact? No, but actually it's serving the same purpose as an apology from Roger Goodell because a respected voice is saying, say something, and it just puts in perspective that he said nothing. But at least it makes people feel good that a respected NFL voice is saying, 5 days later, they have said nothing about this.
I mean, Troy. I guess listening to the replay of the game, Troy Aikman said it was an egregious call. Troy said they missed it.
Sure.
For lack of a better word, they just missed it, and they did. I saw it in real time, Skip. I didn't need for the replay. I tweeted at the time. That was a penalty.
Yeah.
And it basically cost them the game. But
and just remember this. Benjamin Watson gets the magnitude of this as far as lives go. Lives get changed. Your life got changed because you won 3 Super Bowls.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's just do the reverse hypothetical. What if you had no Super Bowl rings?
I'm not in the Hall of Fame.
Okay? You're probably not.
No.
Would you have gotten your CBS TV job? Maybe. Because you were
outspoken,
outspoken and a great talker.
Yeah.
So maybe, but your cachet would have been a lot less, right?
Different.
Okay, there's something about 1 ring, let alone 3 rings, that changes everything.
Yes, it does.
So a whole bunch of players on the Saints, the odds are they're never going to win a ring. Those are the odds. Yeah. So he gets that legacies got changed. Drew Brees' legacy took a hit because you could say, oh, he broke through one time in 2009 and won 1 Super Bowl, but if he won another one, if he beat Tom Brady in this Super Bowl.
Well, he had the great, but here's the thing with Drew. Drew had the greatest run of any quarterback in the NFL history to win the Super Bowl because he beat Kurt Warner, who was a 2-time MVP.
He did.
He beat Brett Favre, who was a 3-time MVP. And he beat Peyton Manning, who was a 4-time MVP.
Okay. But wouldn't that be the final feather in that cap?
Beating Brady. But, Skip, I think you agree. You and I both, I think you agree with me on this. There's nothing that Commissioner Goodell could say that's going to ease the hurt and pain that's emanating from the Saints locker room or from the New Orleans or the state of Louisiana.
Okay. unless you have some Winston Churchill in you and you're such you're such a powerful speaker that you can figure a way to put this in some perspective that everybody says, okay, let's let go of this because our leader said we should keep it in this perspective. There's some way to do that,
I don't know.
But it's never been his strength to me. That's not his strength as a leader. He is going to get asked about this next Wednesday in Atlanta when he does his annual State of the Union. I think it's Wednesday. It was Wednesday. I think they moved it up last year. Whatever. But I'm pretty sure it was Wednesday last year.
He's going to get asked on multiple occasions.
Okay. And again, he will obviously have thought through an answer, and I'm sure the answer will be, we are going to re-examine the use of instant replay, our next competition committee meeting. You know, it'll be something like that. But trust me, he's not going to apologize to Saints fans because he can't.
You were covering the MLB at the time. Who was it Faye Vincent or Bowie Kuhn who was in charge of MLB when Donnie Derkinger blew that call? The Royals Cards game. I
can't remember back. Let's see, that was
85.
85. I was there. It was in Kansas
So I can't, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember him speaking. I don't remember the commissioner saying anything that they blew the call because they did. Everybody saw it. He was out. He wasn't safe. He was out. It happens. It's human. I mean, you drop a pass. I mean, that's like saying, you know, and Skip, I did. It happened to me, and it happened in the second quarter. In 1991, I dropped a touchdown against the Oakland Raiders in the south end zone. Had we won that game, we would have had home field throughout.